return to their homes if it's safe to do so. In Mulgoa, people can return to properties along Martin Street between Mulgoa Creek and the Nepean River, and at Jameson Town, properties bounded by the Jameson Road, Surveyors Creek and Bilski Road can now return if it is safe to do so. Now the SES says that people returning to their homes have to be very wary and make sure that any gas or electricity is turned off, and if electrical appliances and
Yun guys, that's the news from Australia, and hopefully you understand why we don't have any internet here.
Congregating here at Tench Reserve to see the river water receding. It's washed up lots of debris and in fact dead fish as well, Roz. Here's a little of what the residents here have described this morning.
We were just actually checking the water if it's already lowered down, because before we go to work we wanted to make sure that we're safe to go, and yeah, it's not gonna, we're just really worried.
I'm a landscaper, so my work's on hold, so if I don't work I don't get paid, and I live on property, and two dogs, so they're feeling it as well, so a few people got rescued in the street next to me last night, so that was pretty bad.
It's kind of flooding, and I don't want it to flood too much, so...
Yan, he doesn't want to have flood too much. He want to play on the water.
Just a little of what some of the locals had to say today. Now, in terms of the outlook for this afternoon, Roz, I just spoke to the Bureau of Meteorology just a short time ago. They said that the rain will continue today and into tomorrow, and while it has eased a little for the moment, it is expected to be heavy at times as well. So they're urging people to remain alert and to monitor conditions.
Okay, Cecilia Connell in Penrith, Claudia Jambor in Kempsey, and Lisa Miller there in Port Macquarie. Thank you all for the updates. Parts of southeast Queensland have recorded more than 200 millimetres of rain in 24 hours. Torrential rainfall has triggered flash flooding and inundated roads and properties around parts of Brisbane, Logan and the Gold Coast. Michael Rennie is at Coomera on the Gold Coast.
Well, I'm down here at the Coomera River, and as you can see, the rain is still falling, and the water is still pouring down this river. There is a flood warning in place for this river, which runs about 80 kilometres all the way from the Lamington National Park around Binnaburra down to the Gold Coast. And as you can see, the water is moving quite swiftly.
Yun guys, sa Gold Coast yan guys. Ngayon, mag-antay-antay lang tayo kasi the rain, continue pa rin ang ulan, lalo na dito sa amin, affected din kami rito kahit na wala kaming baha, pero ang mga internet connection, mga kuryente dahil sa malakas na hangin, ang affected kami guys, kaya pasensya mo na kayo ngayon dahil hindi talaga ako makapag-live. I gonna upload this. Actually, this is live on my YouTube channel, and hopefully, mapanood ninyo ang mga pangyayari dito sa Australia sa ganitong oras. Ayan, binabalita ko lang sa inyo yan para ma-update ko kayo sa mga pangyayari dito sa Australia. Sa ngayon, yung anak ko dyan, si Jay, si Carlo, si Crystal, itong mga anak ang nangyayari ngayon. We just stay home at the moment, and tomorrow I'm going to go to see my doctor for my third radiation, and hopefully it's going to be okay. And look at that, kahit na mga puno ng kahoy o nabubuwal, kaya magdasalan tayo na sana hindi na maapektuhan masyado ang mga baha, ang mga tao dahil sa baha na to, saka dyan sa Pilipinas, yung mga pandemic. Si Lucy pala may sakit, yung kaibigan ko dyan, may lagnat daw siya, 2 weeks na daw. Sana it's going to be okay for her. At yung mga nag-alala dyan sa Pilipinas, okay lang ako, andito lang ako sa bahay at nanonood ng news, at ito ang gagawin ko, I'm gonna upload some of this news sa YouTube ko, and then you could have a look at it. And guys, pagdasalang natin na sana lahat tayo malagpasan natin itong mga pagsubok ng Panginoon sa atin na ulan, baha, pandemic. Okay guys, ituloy muna natin yung pagpapanood, okay? Okay.
we've just reissued our severe weather warning for New South Wales, and more of the state is under warning than not. So we're talking vast swathes on the north and the eastern side. This is for heavy rainfall, damaging winds, and locally heavy surf. So we've got an influx of tropical moisture coming in from the northwest. That's going to reinvigorate and broaden these flood areas that are going to be affected. So looking on the order of 40 to 80 millimetres for much of north and western New South Wales. So typical rainfalls are about 40 to 80 millimetres in a month. So we're talking about a month's worth of rain in some places of New South Wales, as well as exacerbating the rainfall that's already occurring on the eastern coastal margin.
Kawawa
which will
naman
be
yung
the
mga
worst hit
baka,
areas,
oh.
Jackson?
Wow, mga baka!
Looking right up and down the Great Divide through New South Wales, broadly about 100 to 150 millimetres, and looking at around.
Tingnan nyo gayo, yung mga baka, yung mga bumbero, they're really on red alert. That is on the top. Some of the properties, it's already lulunod na.
Locations creep in over a metre for the entire flood event.
Look at
What
that.
do you think of the scale of these floods,
Oh my
Jackson?
goodness.
The size of the area they cover is staggering, isn't it? From southeast
Yeah.
Queensland to the south coast of New South Wales.
Oh, South Coast, dito sa amin. Sa South Coast,
And we've also got the severe weather warning.
Dito sa amin. Mayroon pala. Mayroon ko parang flood sa South Coast.
For parts of the Gippsland. The driver of it is a stubborn high that's sitting in the ocean between Tasmania and New Zealand, and it's been sitting there for about a week, and it's just been pouring moisture onto the New South Wales coast. But finally, it's beginning to weaken, and from about Wednesday, we should see clearance over vast tracts of.
Grabe,
New South Wales.
guys.
Getting reports that river levels, the Nepean river level, is starting to fall. But what could happen to those river levels over the next couple of days? More rain as it falls on saturated catchment areas.
Yep, so the runoff profiles are a lot more conducive of flooding because it is already saturated, and with those heavier rainfall amounts coming through, it's a no-brainer. We will see renewed flood and river rises. It's just the minutia of which river system is going to cop what amount, that remains to be seen.
Yeah. Jackson Brown, thanks.
Thank you.
And you can keep up to date on the flood situation, including the latest warnings and road closures on the ABC News Live blog. It also contains a number of stories from residents and reporters on the ground in the flood zones. That's one of the top stories on abc.net.au/news. Well, other news now. An investigation into who knew what and when about an alleged rape at Parliament House has been put on hold. Prime Minister Scott Morrison asked the Secretary of his
Okay, guys,
department to look into which
politics
staff
na to,
were
guys. I
aware
have to
of
turn
the
it off now,
allegations.
and
Secretary Phil
I'll
Gaetjens
give you
has
some
confirmed
more
he's put the
update of
investigation
the
on
news,
hold.
okay?
Political reporter Stephanie Borras
Okay,
joins us now from
thank you,
Parliament House
guys.
with more. Hi, Stephanie. So
We
why
love
has Phil
you.
Gaetjens done this?
From down
Hello,
under.
Rose. Well, Phil Gaetjens